Hey.
What?
Hey, man, I just saw you walking. Are you Tim Travels? Are you Terry from Tim Travels?
Yeah.
What?
Nice to meet you.
Sitting over here just south of Lewiston at a Circle K, and turns out you guys have seen this guy probably. He's on YouTube, Tim Travels.
All right, you go first. You're senior to me.
Oh, whatever. He walks over to me, and apparently I passed him this morning, didn't realize I passed him, and he comes to me and says, "Hey, what do you have in this truck? What do you got it set at?" He was going a little bit slower than I was.
So the thing about my trainee Paul, who you guys have met, he said, dude, I think this truck is slow because every time we go by one of those lighted signs that says, you know,
He's got the speed.
Yeah, we're always at like 62, 63.
Right.
Always. And I get passed by a lot of prime guys.
Was he driving today?
No, I was driving when you passed.
Did you have it wide open?
Yeah, I had it set at 65 and my foot on the...
Because I think I remember, because it was like, what, probably about 20 miles out from here when I passed you? So I saw on the radar on the dash, I saw it said you're doing 63 on flat ground.
Yeah.
So that's why, and my truck was slowing down. So I went ahead, I had mine set on 65 too, so I went ahead and put it on the floor, you know, my foot, and I cut out around you. It took me a second to get by you, but once I got by you, I was gone, you know.
Yeah.
And now I understand why you were saying, what did you have the truck turned up to?
Because see, when I started at night, the first truck I ever got, somebody had turned it up.
Right.
It would go like 67.
Oh yeah.
And you know, so
you gotta be quiet about that.
Well, it's kind of funny because then they gave me a new, like this dude asked me one time, he's like, dude, what's that truck set on? I'm like, I don't know, I just got it from the Indianapolis shop.
Right.
Well, then they gave me a newer truck, and the guy came back to me, he's like, what are they going to do with your old truck? I want to get that truck.
Yeah, he's trying to get it.
I mean, so...
That's awesome.
But, so I am probably going to ask, because, you know, Paul's been saying stuff, and I never thought much of it, but I get passed by a lot of prime drivers.
Right.
Like, not every day, obviously, but yeah, if I'm on the flat, a lot of times people will pass me.
Right. Now, my green truck, my 18 Evo, was kind of set up like this one was. Apparently, I thought you were just set at 63. You weren't, you know, you were just trying to coast. You didn't want to run against the government. I had no idea you were 65.
Yeah.
So when I passed, did you know it was me when I passed you?
So I saw you coming, and then when you waved, I was like, that's Will. And then somebody wrote a freight skater on the trailer you dropped off at Walmart.
I do that on every trailer.
Do you?
They message me, they're like, dude,
like,
I'm picking up one of these trailers that's got your alias on it.
I mean, I knew it was you because
like
you went by and waved, and I knew it was you. And then I was like, then I confirmed it. So.
Oh man, yeah, it's crazy. Finally running into each other because we talk to each other all the time on YouTube. And the thing about it is with Terry, you're leased, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Terry's leased, I'm leased, and it's crazy. It's a small world. We're up here in the middle of Maine. There's really nothing around. I mean, you've got
moose. There's moose.
Yeah, you've got moose, and we'll show some shots of the truck stop we're at or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere, so we end up dropping at the same place. So it's really nice to meet Terry finally, because we've been interacting for quite some time now on YouTube, and I'm gonna go and apologize because I'm not a good social friend whatsoever. So like, I know you came up to me and you were like, hey man, why are you not on my channel commenting? I'm like, oh my gosh.
You know, and you know, honestly, because even before I came to Prime, you know, I followed you.
Right.
And I remember, you know, my wife and I, because I was at GP Transco, and I was making good money there.
Right.
And, you know, my wife and I were talking about, you know, is there something else we want to do?
Right.
And one of the videos I had her watch was you did a video like 30 reasons.
The top 30 reasons.
Top 30 reasons to come to Prime. And I thought that was a great video, but my wife was like, oh, Well, he's probably just getting paid to say that. I'm like, I don't think so.
I wish.
So.
I would Prime, and this is one thing I can tell you guys on camera, and you guys can believe me if you want to, or you. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I don't care if you don't believe me, but Prime has never once reached out to me personally at all about any of my videos, any posts, any videos. The only conversations I've ever had with anybody at Prime was me actually reaching out to them and saying, hey, can I get this information? Because I'm doing this video. Right. I'm trying to put this out here for our drivers, for people that are wanting to come to Prime. Never once has anybody called and said, hey man, good job. We want to offer you this. No, never.
Now, I will say this.
And I don't do it because I expect them to, and I'm sorry about my watches. The thing is like throwing red lines everywhere.
You could signal airplanes.
Exactly. It's a safety device. But I've never expected it either, you know what I mean? So we just do it. Right. We do it for you guys, and I think I speak with Terry as well. We do it for you guys so we can share our experience with you, so you know what you're up against if you're trying to come into the industry or you're trying to come to Prime. So, you know, it's no smoke and mirrors. I mean, you know, people think Prime's a joke, and 9 times out of 10 it's the people that have never been here, you know? I mean,
there are so you know, I was at GP Transco. It's kind of funny because I was there, and I really, one of the things that I crave is professionalism, right, with the people that I have to deal with, right. And I like GP Transco for that reason. There were a lot of really good professionals, right. and they didn't just ignore if you had a legit complaint,
right.
Like I complained my first week there that I wasn't running enough, right. They got me a new driver manager. Now they have a marketing guy who is very proactive. He has his own YouTube stuff, and he often would react to negative comments about the company.
Oh yeah.
And even after I left, he and I have been in communication. But you know, people would be like, "Oh, hey, you must be getting paid to say this," and I'm like, "No, I'm getting paid to drive a truck. I'm not getting paid to say this."
Yeah. If I was getting paid to say this, you'd hear me talk a lot more.
Well, and you know, the other thing too is, if I was getting paid to say something, I would disclose that, because right. I think that's the ethical thing to do.
Right.
But at Prime,
is this your guy?
Yeah, this is Paul.
Okay, you want to tell him that you fired him and you got a new?
He knows who. Yeah, he knows. He spotted your truck at Walmart. You gonna come in, Paul?
Yeah.
All right.
You can't leave him out in the cold, in the main cold.
Yeah, except
gotta bring him in.
It's like 52 degrees today.
I'm telling you, you see me with the hoodie on.
It's nice. I took my hoodie off. So
well, see, I keep it like icebox in my truck, but I'm just sitting there. So I was like, I have to wear it.
He's like, man, it's so cold in here.
No, he only does that when it's 20 degrees outside and he's going to sleep. When during the day, he won't turn it on.
Right, guys, we got Paul here. This is Terry's trainee.
Whoa.
So Paul, how many miles do we think you got left? 1,100. Is that right?
2,786.
I still got 1,100. So we got 2,700. Both, we're all just waiting for a load.
So unfortunately for Paul, that's about 3 more weeks. So good thing for Terry. So 2,700. No, just waiting, guys. It's literally like 2 days almost, or 3 days with the team truck.
We're open. If we can get a trip out of here down to Texas.
Paul's like back there. He's like, wait a minute, man. That's not what we talked about.
Yeah, if we get out here, get down to Texas, then we're golden.
Heck yeah.
Because then I'll just take him home and he can go back to Springfield and upgrade.
Right.
So.
Right. Now, Paul, how has your training experience been?
It's been all right. It's been long.
Has it? When did you get on Terry's truck? Now, is he your first and only TNT trainer? UPSDM, Terry? UPSDM?
No.
Okay.
I had a temporary TNT. The guy's truck broke down like a week after we left.
What kind of truck was it?
It was a Freightliner.
What, really?
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, guys.
But I've been on his truck since, what was it, like early December.
I was hoping he was going to say Peterbilt.
Early December.
I'm like diehard Freightliner. Like, yeah. I just, you know, for personal reasons, you know, but also because my trainer, when he took me out, he brought me back to the terminal, had like 165 or 170,000 miles on his truck. He had a 2017 579 and loved it. I loved the truck. It, you know, luxurious on the inside and out. I loved the styling of it. Loved everything about it. I go to upgrade, and the only thing they have is an 18 Evo. It's a brand new truck. Had 180 miles on it, 180. And Of course, it was like a school bus. You know, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, there's no chrome trim, there's no nice leather padded doors. And, you know, it sounds like a school bus when you shut the door, you know, and like, whatever, man, I'm tired of sitting here at the terminal, so I took it. Do you know that I finished my lease out after being 9 months solo first, and then I trained the rest of the lease? I finished my lease out just under 3 years, 1 month after he finished his lease out. And he had a 170,000 mile jump on me because he'd stayed broke down so much. So many issues. So that's what got me into the Freightliner mode, because they were just so reliable, and they've been so good to me.
I mean, you know, like, guys, I remember when I was going through CDL school at night, guys were like, oh, I want to get this truck or I want to get that truck. And I'm like, you know, I just want to get a reliable truck.
Exactly.
Because I'm like, hey, you know,
truck's just a tool.
It's an asset. I just want to run. And
of course, we all want to be super comfortable and have all the gadgets, but I mean, is it at the end of the day, like, I would rather have a truck without all the gadgets making me money than a truck with all the gadgets, like, leaving me on the side of the road?
I mean, and you know, I honestly don't know the figures of reliability for Peterbilts, but I know this from owning nice cars.
Right.
Like, I've owned you know, back when I practiced law, I had a couple of Lexuses. I had a Mercedes S-Class.
Oh, wow.
I had, you know, and I know that the bigger they come, the harder they fall sometimes.
Exactly.
And, you know, like, just getting a key.
Oh, yeah.
Just getting it, like I had to get a key for that. I had a 2004 Mercedes S-Class.
Right.
S430. I had to get a key made. It's like, you know, damn near $500.
That's crazy, yeah.
Or, you know, you go, like, to get a part. Like, I still have my Sprinter van.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it's a Mercedes, but getting parts for it, like, if you go to the dealership, it's expensive. And I mean, you know, everything in the trucking, Class 8s, everything's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, sometimes all the bells and whistles, you know, if they...
just another thing to tear up.
Stuff breaks.
Yep, exactly.
Stuff breaks, like my alternator on my APU. But
I will tell you this, though. If Peterbilt ever joins back up with Detroit, which I know is, like, hard pressed, it'll probably never ever happen.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to get a 579. I love my DD15. That's my power horse, man.
Yeah.
They are bad to the bone. The new Kenworths and the new Peterbilts are nice.
Have you seen the 2022?
Oh yeah. They are wicked. They got the big vents on the side in front of the door, and they're nice.
I had one go by me today. What did you get? Chinese?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. I like
the lady obviously misunderstood. I said I want a sweet and sour chicken with pork fried rice and some General Tso's chicken. She gave me a
we were hungry. We were hungry
rice.
Too, Paul. Thanks for asking.
I'm sorry.
Well, how much did all that cost? That's a lot of food.
$21. I got
21.
$21, but it's.
I thought he was about to say like $11 or something.
Look,
oh, you got another one?
yeah.
Okay.
Give me a whole nother meal.
Well, she must have weighed it, right?
And there's
She weighed it, like put it on the scale.
no.
Really?
She just dumped it in the wall.
She gave you two. She gave you 2 full lunches or something.
Yeah, and
Shoot,
2
yeah.
egg rolls.
Oh, jeez, that's the couple of lunch specials.
Yeah.
So we're gonna finish him up, and he wants to get home. You know,
Oh yeah.
family would like to see him, and then I'm gonna stay out probably solo until like around March 11th. Then I'm taking like 10 days off.
Right.
And then then when I come out after like St. Patrick's Day, I'm gonna be out about a month, but I'm gonna do a PSD guide.
There you go.
Because Gabe has already arranged to do his TNT,
Mm-hmm.
but Gabe hasn't been driving long enough to be PSD certified.
I got you.
So I'm gonna go to Springfield, meet up with this guy, and I've also had interaction with this guy via email too.
Right.
And he's, you know, he's a little bit younger than I am. Finished up another career, and
So this is just like his next step into the journey of life.
it's just a
He's
new
just doing something different.
Nice. So yeah,
Those are the best ones. It's hard with a lot of the guys that come in, and I know you can probably speak on this, but you know, they come in, they're just like, I gotta have money, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, you know. And it's like, man, it's a process. You know, I mean, you have to. We all have that kind of rite of passage through this process, and I know a lot of you trainees and students right now, you guys are frustrated because it's taking longer than usual for Prime to get you guys set where you need to be, whether it's upgrading, whether it's to your PSD instructor, whether it's to your trainers, your TNT trainers. The guys, be patient, stand strong, because they're going to get you. Believe me, Robert Lowe does not like paying $900 a week for everybody to be at home, I promise you. So they're working their hardest to get you guys there. So
yeah, that's not a great business model.
Exactly. Yeah, just paying money for nothing.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I think I made a comment on one of your videos where I said the reason that Prime has a backlog or has put, a hiring freeze is because so many people want to come.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee there are a bunch of companies out there that got plenty of spots open.
Yep.
And they would love to have some of those people.
Yep.
And it's like anything else, right? Like sometimes you got to wait to get what you want.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
if you have this
kind of like our trucks with all our bells and whistles.
Yeah. Well, and if you have this instant gratification mentality, then somebody will gratify you.
Right.
Like, I'm sure that
they'll make you feel that way anyways in the beginning.
Yeah. They'll send you a bus ticket today.
Yeah.
And you could go to their school tomorrow.
Yep.
Or
be out in a week. Yep. Be out in a week.
But I think that there's a reason that Prime attracts the talent they do, and I think I've compared it to the military. Like especially when I go to Springfield, I see all the PSD folks walking around with their folders and their vest on. It's like they're recruits.
I got you.
Right? I look at them as like recruits, right?
Yep.
And they're getting indoctrinated into the system. And they're all lined up at the chow line.
And you served, correct, Terry?
Yeah, I retired from the Navy, but I trained recruits and everything.
God bless you. Thank you for
your son's in
He's in the Navy. He's in San Diego right now.
What's he do?
He's fire controlman. I can't remember what ship he's on at the moment right now.
Okay.
But they are right now. He has been set to deploy off the coast of China, coming up in the next few months. And he is. They're actually doing training missions right now. So he was just underway last week, I think it was. He came back last week. No, the week before. He came back on the 11th. So, and that was his first underway mission. And he came back. He's like, Dad, that was an experience.
I hope he likes it. I had a good career. I enjoyed it, and I've had. Well, I was telling somebody I've been retired. I retired in 2001, so last year was 20 years.
Oh wow!
Retired. I've made way more on retirement pay than I ever made on active duty.
And did you do a full 20 years?
Yeah, I did 20. So here's the numbers. 20 years, 6 months, and 26 days.
Had it down to the T.
Well, it's on my DD-214.
Right.
So I get about 51.25% of what my base was when I got out. But, I got a nice COLA. And if for no other reason, I've paid like a tiny amount my entire adult life for medical care.
Right.
And
that's what I was trying to tell him. I said, man, make the most of it while you're there. Because I talk to so many vets and they say, well, I did 4 years, I did 8 years, I did 12 years. I wish I'd have done my full 20. Because if I'd have done my full 20, I'd have been sitting so good right now. I said, son, when you're my age, you'll be 38, 39, you'll be getting out, and the rest of the world will just be your playground. Like, do it. Learn everything you can, do it.
Yeah, so I retired when I was, I was 38 still. I retired right before my 39th birthday.
Man, that's awesome.
And, my wife has had some surgeries, and, our medical care has been dirt cheap. It's gone up, certainly. But, I think our premiums are maybe like $600 a year.
Oh, wow, that's
for
awesome.
Family coverage.
That's awesome.
And, so it's been worth it.
Paid off.
Yeah, because, a lot of times when you're 20, 21 years old, right, being 38, people that are 38 seem like your grandparents too.
Oh, yeah, my kids now, Dad, you're an old head.
Yeah, but the thing is, it goes by that fast.
Right.
It goes by in a heartbeat. And then, like you said, you still got your whole life ahead of you. You still got 40, 50 good years.
And you're still in great shape as long as you take care of yourself while you're in there, because you have a model there that promotes that health and fitness area of it. Me, I mean, I got in the truck and I know I've gained probably 40 pounds since I've been here in 2017. But if I would have been in the military the whole time, that PT regimen would have kept me healthier than what I am now. You know, I mean, that's why I told him, I said, don't give up on it. You know, just stay active with it, stay current. I said, don't let it slip. You know, just stay on it. You know, and I said, you'll be fine. You know, and so it's definitely. I wish I could go back and do it all over again, because that's exactly. I would have done exactly what my son's doing right now. So I told him, I said, bud, you're gonna be set up way better than me, and your mom is. You're gonna be happier. I promise you, man. Just stick it out, learn as much as you can, take advantage of that situation 100%.
And I tell people about like trucking. You know, I said this to a guy recently, because he was ready to come on board, and then he's retired from the New York City government,
right?
And he's got his pension, and he said, you know, somebody just offered me my dream job, and I said, you know what, man? I said, trucking's not going anywhere.
Right, exactly.
And do the dream job, and if it doesn't turn out to be the dream you thought it was, you know, Prime's still going to be here.
That's right.
You know,
trucking will be here. That road will be here. It's all here for you.
So yeah, man.
And that was what the point of one of my other videos was, you know, take your time with it. You know, do you. Don't rush into something, because it is a life-changing thing. This trucking is, you know, for a lot of people. And I know for us, it was a big shift in careers for us, going from the auto salvage industry, the auto recycling industry into trucking. You know, it's still automotive based, but is a whole different lifestyle. You know, I mean, it really is. It really is. It took us 2 years to get to that point where we could actually do it.
Well, you know what the nice thing about coming to Prime and leasing and even training, right? I now am able to take a lot more time off.
Oh yeah.
Than when I was a company driver.
Right.
And you know, when you lease a truck, and somebody was asking me about excess mileage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, just to answer that question, we do get charged for excess mileage, and I don't even know what the mileage rate is, but you got to keep in mind that one of the reasons I think they do that is because I could take this truck right now, because I don't have a load or anything. I could PC from here home.
Yep.
If I wanted to.
They call that unauthorized miles there, because you're going, right. You know, you're out of route, right. Not dispatched, yeah.
Right. So, and I have PC'd. I PC'd one time from Massachusetts because I had one pallet of chicken in the trailer that had been rejected.
Right.
Because the boxes got wet. I PC'd home. I PC'd to Pennsylvania and gave the chicken to a church because I was going to start home time anyway.
Right.
But so I just PC'd home. And, you know, so I had one pallet of chicken, got rid of it.
A lot of chicken, one pallet.
It is a lot of chicken, but it went to a good cause. It went to a church, and they gave it away to people. But, you know, so that's where some of my excess mileage comes from.
Right.
Because I use personal conveyance. I mean, I maximize.
Yep.
I don't maximize the use of it. I don't want to sound like I do it all the time. But I use it.
We're in PC right now, people, sitting still.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like I PC'd over here.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Because I was waiting. I waited for a while like you did over at Walmart.
We were like, what, 6 miles away or something like that? 6.5?
Yeah, one exit.
Like that. Yeah.
So then I was like, I had already put myself off duty, and I was just on my phone looking around. And so then I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go to the truck stop that I knew this was here. And so I just used PC. But that's miles that aren't dispatched.
Right.
But still count on the odometer.
Towards your lease, yep.
On the lease, you know, and they have all the maintenance intervals, so it does, you know, they don't care how the miles came.
Yeah, and plus they're also, too, counting on the worst case scenario, too, with their contracts. So, worst case scenario, driver dips out on that lease, that excess mileage is going to go towards, you know, getting that truck back up to spec or whatever it needs to be done to put forward. Now, I have to check our ACE handbook as far as the lease completion side of it goes, but I believe most, if not all of it, goes towards the end of lease completion bonus for the drivers. So I think that's part of how our lease completion actually gets built up so fast like it does. So, and like I said, guys, don't quote me on that. If you know about it, please post it in the comments. If you know for sure, but I will check that ACE lease handbook because they do have a great explanation about the excess mileage charge and the lease completion and everything in there.
And the other thing is when you're running team, because people say, oh, well, you're running more miles. Of course you are. But when you run in team, that increases your authorized mileage allocation for a given month or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I look at it, it's like any lease, right? It's a business expense.
Right.
And I think it'll all come out in the wash. Because if you're not at Prime, you may not know this, but I can go on my phone and at any time I can see my rolling end of lease completion bonus and my tire fund.
Yep.
But I've talked about this before. I didn't lease this. This is only a 100-week lease on this tractor.
Right.
So I still have tire fund left from the previous driver who leased this truck.
And that's one of the good things. The tire fund, part of the tire fund will roll with a existing lease on a used lease, but whatever was in the end of lease completion itself will not roll with the truck. So I think if Success would do a little bit of the tire fund, and this is just my personal opinion, and some of that end of lease completion that wasn't used to spec the truck back up to spec, I think a lot more drivers would do a lot more existing leases and get them knocked out for Success, because they would give them a little bit of a bump, at the beginning.
Well, right, but you know what? I mean, I think I still have like $1,400 in tire fund from the previous lease. I know I'm going to need to put new drives on this.
Oh yeah, eventually, yeah.
So, that money gets used first.
Exactly.
So I don't think I can buy 4 drives for $1,400. And by the way, I didn't know this until I went through driver for training.
Your certification to train? Yeah.
Thank you. But you can buy tires at Prime with a given amount of tread on it.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to buy, like at the end of lease, they require you, I think, to have like, maybe it's 8 or 9 30 seconds.
Something like
somewhere
that,
in that range.
Maybe 10, 30 seconds, something like that. Yeah.
So let's say you're down to 5:30. Well, actually, if you're at 6, they'll want you to replace them. That's just kind of their standard. But there's a video about like the core charge.
Right.
What do they call it? It's not core charge.
Well, they'll actually give you a credit on the ones you have no matter what. I think it's like a base casing charge, yeah. So they'll give you a casing credit of 75 or more, depending on what's left on the tread.
Right.
And then they will just, whatever the tread amount required is, they'll take that casing credit and take it off of that. So you only pay a small dividend of what you would if you were just getting tires anywhere else.
Right. So I like how, so I'll be able to buy tires to meet the requirements to turn the truck in at that after 100 weeks.
Right.
But I don't have to buy brand new tires.
Exactly.
So it's
and whatever's left over.
And I had a tire. Yeah. And I had a tire that I needed to replace, so we just kind of measured the other 3 and matched it up.
Oh, yeah.
So it really does. It really works out pretty well.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of naysayers. They're like, "Oh, you're getting ripped off. You're getting," and what I try to explain to people is this. Two things. One is, first of all, I've looked at about a gazillion leases in my previous life.
Right.
Like I used to do commercial leasing for lots of clients.
Right.
I've dealt with commercial landlords, equipment leasing. I just advise small businesses and stuff.
Right.
So I've seen everything. I also mostly read all of my lease, which I know almost nobody does.
It's hard to do too. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yep.
In fact, when I got it, the guy from leasing kept messaging me, "Hey, when are you going to send me that?" I'm like,
when you get signed, send it. Yeah, when you get signed,
I'm reading it. Yeah. And the thing that I tell, like when I was in ACE 2 class, I remember the gal that teaches it. I can't remember her name. Trish. Yeah.
Trish Brewer. Yeah.
She said something, and I can't remember what it was. But one of the other drivers was like, "Well, why is that?" Or how come they do that? Or where's that come from? And she and I simultaneously were like, "It's in the lease."
Yeah.
And I used to tell, and look, truck drivers are no different than other business owners.
Yep.
And I used to have clients, they'd be like, "Hey, I'm getting ready to renegotiate my lease.
Right.
Can you look at," and I would say, "Yeah, I can help you." And I said, "Let me see the lease you're on now." And then I'd look it over, I'd highlight stuff, take notes. I'd be like, hey, did you know your lease says this? They'd be like, no.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, they didn't even know where the money was going.
Oh, wow.
You know, because they would just get a bill for, you know, like on a triple net lease, they just get a bill for all, you know, taxes or, you know, their pro rata portion of snow removal or whatever. And a lot of people would get surprised by that.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, the thing is, right, like, it's not, nothing's foolproof.
Oh, yeah.
But I've looked at a lot of leases. I kind of know what's out there in the trucking industry and what some other people are saying. If you can't be successful with a prime lease, you're probably not going to be successful anywhere else.
Right.
Because I really do think prime is a favorable situation. It's not perfect.
No.
They're trying to make a buck too.
Oh yeah, they got to make money or they wouldn't be here.
And you know, and I'm sure that, you know, if I looked at their, you know, balance sheet and stuff, I'm sure there'd be a lot of money they're making off of leasing.
Oh yeah.
And reselling trailers and trucks, but I also think there are a lot of people, and you know, we know several names of people who've built their own fleets.
Oh yeah.
And this is,
and us just as single drivers and leases, I'm sure I can attest to. I mean, the money's here. I mean, it's not, you know, there's a reason we're still here. There's a reason that I'm here after 5 years. You know, I mean, it's a great company. It's a great company to do so many things, whatever you want to do, and to get to that level that you want to get to with that Big Brother network support, you know, of Prime, you know, and that's the biggest thing is, and I think a lot of issues with the leasing programs themselves for trucking is back when the leasing option came about back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, it was basically a scam. I mean, it really was. It was 100% scam. So when you hear these veteran drivers, 20, 30, 40 years in the game out here on the road, oh, you're leasing with Prime, that's the joke, you're getting ripped off, don't do that. Go to my buddy Terry down here at such and such at this lot, and he'll sell you a truck. All you need is $10,000 down. That's the way. Buy a used truck. Don't do, you know, guys, I promise you, there's a reason that Prime's been in business this long, and it's not by overly screwing their drivers. You're going to find people who have had bad experiences here, and you're going to find people like Terry and I who have had amazing experiences here. Is every day the best day ever at Prime? No, of course not. You're going to run into stumbles. You're going to hit little stumps, and you're going to stub your toe. But for the most part, yeah, we're enjoying it out here like 100%.
And you know, I tell people this is my little go-to motto. The secret to success in truck driving is driving a truck.
Yeah.
If, you know, I've seen some of the people on YouTube that came before me, at least at Prime, and man, half the time it was like they were on vacation.
Yeah.
They're staying in hotels all the time.
Yeah.
They're like at Disney World. They're, you know, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but if, you know, you gotta put the work in.
Yeah, you're gonna get out of it what you put in. Like, you know, and I had a conversation with somebody else yesterday about that. I can't remember who it was, but I told them, I said, look, you know, and they said something like, I was trying to talk to them about Prime, stuff like that, and it was somebody who had already been here before, and they had left, and they were thinking about coming back. I said, look, don't judge your experience or your ambitions by what I do. My needs and wants are different, okay? I'm out here to bust tail and get as much as I can because I have 5 mouths at home to feed that are waiting on me. And the only reason that I'm away from those 5 beautiful creatures is to provide for them. So if I'm not providing for them, all this time out here is wasted. You might have a single guy who's 21, doesn't even have an ambition to drive a truck, just wants, to buy a truck, just wants to drive company. May want to live out here for 6 months. Drive 3 loads a week and say, hey boss, you know, I want to take a day off. I'm just going to sit over here at this truck stop, and that's great. If you can afford to do that, that's amazing. But at the end of the year, when you don't own that truck, or at the end of the year when you don't have that $20,000 saved up that you thought you would, don't blame anybody but yourself, because you're going to get out of this road what you put on it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
So, and Prime makes it easy. I mean, they give us a good program, you know, great program. I mean, it's, like you said, it's really easy to succeed here. We'll go back to the leasing side of it. And I did a video not too long ago about how, you know, what defines success in the trucking industry. Because I hear so many times, leasing's a scam. You can't make any money leasing. You're an idiot. You should just buy your truck. You're so stupid, yada, yada. You know, you want to be successful, buy a truck, buy a used truck, yada, yada, yada. Go to this company, go to that company. Let me tell you something. I don't care what company you're at, okay? If you're accomplishing your goals, you're making your money that you want to make, it doesn't matter what you drive, okay? It doesn't matter if you're buying it, leasing it, or whatever. Take a New York bakery that sits right on Atlantic Avenue, okay? Right outside of Brooklyn. The man that owns the bakery, that owns the LLC, has leased that building for 25 years. Do you really think you can walk inside that bakery after that man's been in business for 25 years and say, hey, you own this building? No, I lease it. I've been leasing it for 25 years from saying that. You're a failure because you don't own that building that you work out of. It's the same thing with a truck, just like Terry said earlier. Just like businesses, brick and mortar businesses, these trucks are a tool to make money and accomplish goals and achieve what we want to achieve. There are drivers I know that have been in prime for 20 plus years. They have never bought a truck. All they do is lease. They like the comfortability of a new truck every 3 or 4 years. They like that constant warranty. They like that constant safety net of having that truck. It's the same thing with, like you said earlier, about business people. Leasing Mercedes, leasing, BMWs. They don't want to own that car because once they're done with it, it's going to have those many miles and they don't want to have it anymore. They want a new one.
And you mentioned the safety net. That's one of the things that actually ended up selling my wife on the idea.
Right.
Is that there's this backstop. There's this safety net. Like, if you have a problem, like these guys that own their own truck. Okay, if your turbo goes, well, then you just had $12,000 come out of your bank account. But if you don't have $12,000, now what are you doing? Well, putting it on a credit card. So now it's not a $12,000 repair. It's going to, look, I just
end up being way more.
It's going to be an $18,000 repair. And I like the comfort of knowing that somebody's standing behind what's going on. And here's a perfect example. This happened just yesterday. We dropped a load in New Jersey, and we went over to Flying J, and we stopped briefly.
Where'd you drop in Jersey?
At Source Organic.
Okay, we were at the FedEx over there in Newark.
Okay, so we were at Source
Organic. I was
Organic.
like, man, it'd be so weird if you dropped in Newark at the FedEx. It was like, man, they're chasing us around.
Before.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, we went to Source Organic, and then we got this load that we just dropped at Walmart out of Delaware. And so I said, well, let's go over here and, we'll just go to this truck stop for a minute and see, kind of get our bearings. So when we pulled in, it said they did washouts there.
Right.
So I was like, okay, cool. So we parked, Paul went in and got a shower, and then I went over to talk to the shop. I said, hey, I need a washout. And they got me taken care of. I pulled over there. But while I was over there, a guy came walking across the parking lot, and he's like, oh, are you getting a washout? And at first I thought he was a Prime driver because he just came up and started talking. And I said, yeah, and I said I got a load going, or I just brought a load in from California, vegetables and stuff. And he's like, man, I was at a delivery and a jockey hit my trailer, and now I can't get the door closed all the way. So and he has a reefer, but this guy's an independent operator.
Right.
He has a reefer that he can't run because the door is damaged.
Yeah, it's got the door sensors.
And he's waiting for a dry load to try to get down to Houston from New Jersey.
Right.
And I told him about the DAT website and the app.
Right.
That he didn't even know about, because he's like, yeah, my broker's telling me I don't have anything. I've been sitting here for like a day and a half. And, I'm like, you could say what you want about, that guy made $10,000 to take a load that I only got paid $7,500 for.
Right.
But guess what? I don't really worry. I mean, we're sitting here shooting the bull, but we're not on the phone worrying about where the next load is coming from. Right? Because our fleet manager,
they know we're ready to roll.
They know when we're ready to roll. They know we got 2 drivers in each truck. And I don't care what anybody says. I've heard too many stories about guys sitting for days.
Oh yeah.
Even at places like Landstar.
Yep.
Sitting for days waiting for a load out of some place.
And they've also got that mentality like, I'm not going to crank my truck up unless it's $5 a mile, you know, and you'll keep sitting, you know.
You know, and like I showed, I did a thing I called the tale of two loads, right? And I showed a load I rejected when we were down in Texas one time, and then a load that they took off of us going from Texas to Oakland.
Right.
Well, the load going to Oakland paid less per mile, but because of how it worked out, it paid more per day.
Right.
And I don't care if you own your own truck, if it's already paid off. There's still a frictional cost to having a truck every single day.
Yep.
And why do I say that? Because you got a base plate you pay for every day.
Yep.
You got insurance you pay for every day.
Yeah, everything can be broke down into daily standards,
right.
Yeah.
And so when you're sitting for 2 or 3 days to get a good load,
yeah, that's that X amount of revenue per day that you have lost the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're just adding to that revenue that you're looking for on day 4.
Right.
You know, exactly.
So now you really got it. You know, like you've gone 0 for 5 at the plate.
You really
need a home run. You really need to hit a home run.
Yep. But it's exactly like you can pull a $10 mile load, but if it only goes 60 miles, and it's going to take you over 24 hours, it doesn't matter. Like it's not.
Yeah, you know what
I
was telling Paul? I said you see some of these short loads because I read the load boards.
Right.
There'll be like a load going like 85 miles and it pays $1,500. But here's the catch: you got to pick it up on a Friday, but you can't deliver it until Monday.
Yeah, exactly. So now take that and break it down: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then basically early Monday. So you might as well say 3.5.
Yeah.
Take 1,500 divided by 3.5. You're below $500
and then
a day.
once you get that trailer unloaded, now you get to wait for a new load.
Right, exactly. So with us, you know, there's a lot of different ways to value a load that's sent to you, whether you pull it off load selection with Prime or whether they send it to you. Rate per mile is not the only thing. You got to consider, you know, like you said, your daily revenue. You got to consider, are you trying to be in a certain area? You got to consider, what does that area offer you when you get there? Do you know it's going to be a rough area, or you know it's going to be a good area? Like, you know, does your trainee have to be somewhere? You know what I mean? Do you have home time planned? Whatever, you know? You
know, like I told them when they tried to give me that load in Texas, I'm like, I don't want to run a load of freaking meat to 3 different stops in Texas. Because I actually want to get him miles too.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know, because I'm paying him.
Yep.
Right? And so that's part of my daily cost.
Yep.
And I just have to look at it that way.
Exactly.
Thank everybody for watching.
Most definitely.
If you're not watching Freight Skater, you should. He's got lots of great info, and he's got flatbed experience, even if you were interested in doing that.
And if you're not watching Terry on Tim Travels, you should as well. So guys, a link to his channel is going to be down in the description. Make sure to go check him out and sub out and like, share his videos. So Terry's been amazing, man. I've been really enjoyed it.
It's good to talk to you, man.
Rock on. Hopefully you get home here pretty soon, and it doesn't take you another 3 weeks like I cursed you earlier. So I gotta ask you guys this, and Terry, before we get off of here.
All right.
Okay. One last question.
Okay.
Has anybody ever told you that you look like Jack Nicholson?
No one's ever really said that to me, but I mean, I guess it's possible.
He knows. He knows. I feel like I'm talking to a movie star right now. Like, look at this guy's great.
You know what? I tell you what.
I'm just waiting on you to pick up a plate of eggs off of Anger Management.
I said over easy!
There you go. No, you got a face of a millionaire, brother.
Get a load of me.
You got a face of a millionaire, brother. I love it. That is awesome, man.
It's good talking to you.
Yeah, it's great talking to you guys, too. Guys, don't forget to like, sub, and share. Go check out Terry. See you guys next time. Stay safe. God bless. Freight and Terry. We're out of here.
Right.
Oh, and Paul.
And Paul. All right. Bye now.
long have you been Terry from Tim Travels?
A long time. Well, I've been Terry longer than Tim Travels.
Really? So seriously, I've been asking you, what's the meaning behind Tim Travels?
Okay, so, and I told this story, like, I actually told it on live with Lyle one time, but, and I think I even talked about it in a video.
As stated in the video, I'm a terrible friend. So.
But here's the basic. So what happened is, years ago, my wife did daycare.
Right.
And she had this little boy that it was like his first day. And she would always call herself Miss Sally, and then she'd introduce me as Mr. Terry. So I came home from work, and this little kid was there. He was 4 or 5.
Right.
And and so she would always make the connection. Well, this is Mr. Terry is the other kid's dad. Right. So she goes, oh, this is, and I won't say the kid's name, but this is Mr. Terry. And he looks up at me and he's like, hi, Tim. And every time after, and I was like, no, it's Terry. And he went on his way. Well, then the next time I saw him, hi, Tim.
That's awesome.
Like, he just totally ignored.
So how long ago was that?
Oh, man. Probably 16, 17 years ago.
So that just stuck
And
with
so
you.
the Tim part, so like, you know how, like, you go in, they're like, can I get a name for the order or a name for the reservation? Like when you're trying to get a table somewhere. I would always just say Tim. That was like,
That's your alias.
Yeah, that's like, well, so you know what a nom de guerre is? A war name?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just call that my nom de cuisine. Right? If I'm at Hardee's or I'm,
That's your food. What name can I put on over there? So and that rolled over into the YouTube.
Well, yeah, but also the other reason I use Tim at the new places is because every time I would say Terry, because when I do say Terry, I always say Terry like Terry Cloth. Right? But if I went someplace, they'd be like Perry, Harry, Larry, like.
Nobody can mess up Tim. Tim, him.
I mean, I guess they could say Jim. But
yeah, it's him, Jim, Tim.
Kim?
Oh, man, you just messed it up. Kim. Great, now we got to find a new name. Thanks a lot, Paul.
That's what I'm here for.
So that's where Tim Travels came in.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. All right, man, we're out of here, man. God bless.
Right.
Great to meet you, brother. Great to meet you, Paul, man. God bless. Good luck. Congratulations on your upgrade. And I hope your next students is awesome. So I hope your next training is awesome. Paul.
I've had great luck.
Paul said it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
No, I've had good luck.
You hear that? Next, Tim,
good luck.
trainee, you got a lot to work up to. This man right here just told you.